Good morning, guys. Dawson's got a little mowing job for a customer, and this is their weed whacker. He uses their lawnmower, and he went to get this started this year, and he couldn't get it going. This is a Poland twist and edge TE 450, and 450 it would seem like it'd be 45 cc, but it says powerful 25 cc, a pretty small one, and it looks like a release button here, and you can lay it over and the head turns. And so probably back in the day, it's an older unit. I don't know what year, if I can find the number on it, but this is probably a pretty good one. And I see it's leaking gas just sitting here. He can't get it running. He said he pulled on it quite a while, and that's when I checked the pull rope, you know, make sure we don't tear this thing all apart. The rope actually looks good, like it's got very little use on it. And of course this says nice full choke, half, and off. Got a priming bulb. And what I check on them, I don't know if you can see that, find out if this priming bulb is dried out and cracked. And it doesn't appear to be. It seems like in good shape. But this leak in gas tells me that we got a gas line problem. The gasket, something's going on there. So right away, I'm not going to worry about spark. I'm going to go to fuel. Usually when they sit around, like, I'm not sure. I don't think Dawson used, you know, it's leaking out of the gas cap right away. But I'm not sure this even got run last year. There's even cobwebs in the holes here where the screws are. I don't know what's... I guess I can get them out with a Phillips. I can't see them. They're all cobweb holes. Yeah, they're Phillips. This is quite an older machine. Let's see what's going on inside here. I wanted to have Dawson go down and do that lawn today, and I don't want him using my equipment because I want to use mine today. Little tiny air filter, but it looks in good shape. And inside the throat here, just a hole, and I don't think I've ever seen this style. But I think I'm going to go deeper because if I press this throttle, it doesn't hardly even move. I don't know if the cable's frozen or something. Dawson didn't mention that doesn't really move. Mine will go right up easy and fling back. This is like, it feels like it's going to break. Dawson helped me yesterday. We're working on a 1850 house, and it's quite a ways out of town, and he helped me put in floor joist. Go ahead and check out his channel, Dawson Robinson on YouTube. And he's got a few things going on, and he's getting to be a pretty good bowling star, so I don't want to bowl with him anymore because he's too good for me. This will slide up and out. I see holes here, so it looks like the carburetor might have adjustments on it. That would be nice. Right away, we got a broken hose. There's nothing there. See if you can see that. Let's zoom in a little bit here. I don't know if you can still see it, but it is hot, and it's 8:40 in the morning. It was about 90 yesterday. It's supposed to be like 80. I don't know if it's 87 today. Pretty hot. But see the one fuel line coming out, and it's hard. Usually these flex all over. The second fuel line usually is a return, one in and one out, and this is right here. It's just broken right off. And let's see if we can find out where that goes. I should dump this fuel out now. I'll leave my... How do you like my tool bench today? We got the old tractor bucket. I don't know how old this fuel is. If they didn't use it last year, mine evaporates, so I don't know if this stuff is all sludgy or maybe he dumped some in it. I'll dump this out. Well, it's got a good green color. Maybe it's fresh fuel. I think I took him down some last year. I pre-mixed it like 40-1. I don't know what this is. Most of them around 40-1 or something. This fuel looks all right. It's probably my fuel. So I think he attempted to put fuel in it. And while we're at it, I'm not a professional lawnmower repairman, but if we look down in that carburetor, or I'm sorry, the fuel tank here, I don't know if you can see that. There's something floating in there, like the other end of that hose. Yeah, it's rattling around in there. So that's the problem, guys. It's got to be when he primes it, it's squirting right out here. Comes up, you know, it go right out. So let me get my fuel out of here. I don't dump this. And then I'm not sure. I got Dawson's sock. I like using his old socks for rags. And then stick it in my pocket. And then let's see. Some of these you can buy a fuel tank and it comes preloaded with hoses, and then you just snap them on. Some small engines. This one right there, this one's broke off even. See that? And then the other one's broke off. They're just old. So this needs fuel lines, and on the inside there's usually like a little filter. So I gotta figure out how to get this fuel tank right out of there. And then I'll look up this model number, and sometimes, like if I can buy this tank for 20 bucks or less, I'll tell the customer, let's just get a tank. There's a SKU number on the bottom of this right here, so I should be able to get the model and everything online. And then to put a fuel line down in here, some of them are easy, but you can't get in the tank very good. If you get a long hose and fish it up through there and get it out and put the little strainer on and pull it all back through and then clip the excess. But this is like an 1/8 inch hose. This is like nothing. I think mine are a lot larger than that. So let's get this fuel tank off just to see if I think I can repair it. And these are a hex, looks like around a 3/16. And I think some of them tools are in the truck, but I wanted to see if this throttle cable moves. And it doesn't. That comes up here. See this on top? I probably got you out of focus again. Where are we? Oh, you're out of focus. And here's a throttle. And this swings back and forth. Let's see if it even moves. This thing might be junk, you know. You start buying parts for some of these. Well, the throttle moves back and forth. See that? No. My table probably doesn't work great. I'll get you a different view. See if I'm not in the way all the time. So this is the Poland twisting edge. So it looks like a Walmart. It does have a, looks like a high throttle maybe. Maybe it's an idle adjustment. There's hey Lucky, Kitty's helping me. We've got an idle screw, but this moves up here. As I press the throttle, now it just started to move. I think it was stuck because I couldn't get this to move. And the cable just rides on that plastic. This moved down here a little, and now I think it was stuck, and I just did that. Cool. All right, here's the priming bulb if we need it. We just unscrew that. This bulb looks in good condition, but usually if these hoses are bad, that's bad. Because they dry out together, you know, and they're about the same age. This unit looks like it's 20 years old. And the fuel tank is up behind here, so it's probably these screws. Let me get the 3/16, see if that's the size. I'm sure it's not metric. Okay, I looked up this model online. It's what I thought it was. It's old. And it says that I can get a carburetor And I think these are generic, the bulbs. I can't get the throttle assembly. I can't get the shaft. They're all discontinued. The fuel tank is discontinued. Obsolete, it says. So now what I'm going to do is try to get the fuel tank off. Probably ought to take a picture of this assembly, and then I'm going to try to locate this size fuel line. I think they, you know, for the bigger engines like 49 cc's and stuff, I think the fuel line's a little bigger. I may be wrong, but this looks tiny to me. It's like 1/8 inch inside. I don't know if I got the right screws or not. Let's see. But I may end up having to keep this thing, and the customer's got to buy a new one because they'll probably go with an electric one. I think the gas ones are going to be phased out. Is that the screws? No, that didn't help much. What else is holding that on there? Don't see any other bolts in it. Have to take this whole bracket off maybe. And then a lot of times in a pinch, I don't know if you call it a pinch, but when I try to take out bolts like this that haven't ever been out, I'm sure they've never been out, instead of using the hex, I find these like to round out. I use a Torx, and the Torx bite in nice. So I get a Torx about the same size, and rarely do I ever strip a screw out. Otherwise you got to get out like a little chisel and tap them a little bit and get them to turn. Got to get in them square. They usually bite pretty good. So hopefully nothing falls apart here. Is that it? Still not it. So maybe they come in from this side. I thought that held that shield on. That's alright. The more I take apart means I can clean it in there. I thought this held that shield on, or this whole front cover on. I guess it screws right into the back of the fuel tank. But if I can get this tank out of there, and I can go to whoever and get some fuel line, and it's the right size, I might be able to fish them in there and just put a, there's one, and just put a, maybe a new filter on it, fuel line filter that sits inside the fuel tank, new line, and try to fish them up through there. I did that once. It took me probably an hour to get the fuel line out and in one of these baby tanks. They should make a bigger fuel assembly here, you know, Phil, so you can get down in there with a pair of needle nose or something. This tiny stuff. So the picture I saw online, it was obsolete. It said I can't get it, so it didn't have a price on it. It says comes with fuel line preloaded. So is that it? Got 2 screws out there. They look like they're on a big rubber bushing, so I guess this has to come off. And we'll keep going. Rip this thing all apart. Can't be too many more screws. I see a spring down in there. See what that is. Throttle, maybe? Way down in there. How many more we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing over here. This thing ready to come apart. They don't make things easy, do they? I'm burning up out here. It's hot. I might have to go find me a spot in the shade. I don't see any more bolts in this thing. Maybe the plastic just snaps hard together. But like I said, I'm pretty sure. Oh, 2000. 23-year-old. I think that's what it says, right? 2000 EPA on it. I should look up the serial and see how old it is. There we go. Take this off. Now the fuel tank wants to fall off. There's a gasket. And a little rubber plug. Oh, you can see the cylinder. Huh. You see the crankshaft. That's kind of cool. There's a piston. Look at that. Crankshaft. Now, this will come out. Oh, that just fell out. Hear that? Okay, now, check that out. Let me pull the rope and we can watch that. Look at that. Kind of cool. It's amazing how fast these spin, like 10,000 RPM. Looking at the cylinder wall up there, don't look like any debris in it. The bottom of the, I'll get it to stop right there. The bottom of the, yeah, it's pretty clean. And there's one of the mounting plugs that goes on here. Take them off. Don't lose them. And then now we can see the carburetor. Here's our fuel line. There's our return line. One over the others. Yeah. I'll look. It had an owner's manual online, so I know I can get a PDF print of that. Here's that spring, and that holds the muffler on. Boy, these are cheesy, aren't they? And then, so that's the size of fuel line I need. Probably ought to take a photo of that before I rip them off in there. And then, let me do a little research. Zoom in a little bit. Do a little research on the size of hose. I know I can buy the hose. That was available. But if I can get the spec on it, it says that's like 1/8 of an inch. But I can get the caliper out and measure it. It's just got to fit on with no clamps. Maybe I can get a foot of it or so, and this will cost 29 cents to get it running. But I got to take this fuel tank, and we got to find it right here. You see the hose is broken off in there, and the other one just is missing, and this one was the one sitting right there till now. So every time he primed it, it was just splashing out. It'll never run. He said it popped a couple times and that was it. So I knew it was like fuel. It's always fuel. I don't know if I can get that out of there. There's a fuel filter. See that? There, I can take that with me to get the right size hose. And that's got a little clip on it that holds it together. And I probably won't buy one of these. This looks pretty clean. Get my sock here. So I probably won't be buying anything other than hose. And I don't think I have this size hose. I think I only have 1/4 inch. It definitely won't work. Anything rattling? Still some more in there. Tanks are shaped weird, so how do you get, let's see, the fill is here. Yeah, it's right up around this edge, so yeah, if you can see it in there, probably not. Get closer here. Whoa. Right there is the same, I guess you call it a nipple that a hose would be on. I would assume a hose would push up on that and come down into the bottom. So I bet you it's going to be a bear to try to get worked on. I probably could get needle nose in there to push a hose up on it. And if this is return only and it just sprays it in, then that wouldn't matter to me. But I have a feeling that's the suction side. And is it the front or the back one? I see another piece of hose down in there. So it's the back hole, the bigger one, is that. So I'll look up the photo on that. And because the tank mounts this way, I know that at least one fuel line has to come down in here, probably with this laying on it. So there's a hose that's got to come up to that, or all the way up out of that hole. But because the nipple's on there and there's a nipple there, I gotta figure out which is which. One is tiny. Let's see if this will fit right down in there or not. It fits in the big hole, and does it fit in the small hole? Oh, whatever I did, I knocked it in the tank. That's good. I know it don't go like that. See a piece of the fuel line right here? So what they did, I think, is left fuel in it and it degraded. I know the gas isn't good for my hand. I'll get in there and wash it. I got some orange Gojo or whatever and get this off, but that's all fuel line. It's all plastic eroded there. Yuck. And then get these, look at that fuel line. So it would be best to buy a preloaded fuel tank. It says it's obsolete. I might call around and somebody might have one somewhere. I might go on eBay. Okay, this is what I wanted. Here's two more parts. There's a clip and a little rubber. Let's see if this opens. Yep, see that opens. See that? So this can't be suction. This has to be the return, throwing it back. And that opens up under a little pressure probably. And then this one is the one that I could see in there. And this was coming into the tank. I better get me a little cup to put all our parts in here. This was coming into the tank, pointing down. It doesn't fit in the little hole. So it looks like I'm going to have to put a hose on this one, have it extend down in like 6 inches, put the filter on. I bet you that's how it goes. That line that was just corroded was probably 6 inches long. Goes up. So the filter lays back here. This nipple fits on the inside. So I would put it all together and then I would feed it down in, or maybe I could feed it this way and catch it, bring it up, put this all back together and let the filter stay in the bottom, and the excess will come up to the carb, and then all we need is a little hose that goes into the smaller fitting. Oh, look at that just crumble in my hand. Look at that turn to powder. Nothing, that hose is. I gotta save a piece of that and show them. And then Dawson's supposed to mow today, and I was going to get this running, but it sure doesn't look it. This may run without a fuel filter, but probably not too long, because you get a little piece of dirt in this carb and it's junk. It won't idle, it won't run good. You have to have a filter on this. And that figures. Probably nothing wrong with the carburetor, but I definitely need the hoses, and I probably can reuse this. And then all the rubber fittings, gaskets, screws is here. So that's what I'm going to try to get, guys. And it's Sunday. He wanted to mow, and I thought I'd have this ready. You can go down and trim too. But I don't want to let him have my machine because it seems like it comes back. There's something wrong with it each time because people don't understand. I don't know. You get used to your machine and you're like, yeah, I know what it needs, what you got to do. I have a Ryobi cordless, or 18 volt. It works great too, but it's got so many delicate parts. I don't like it bouncing around somebody else's car, and I want it to work when I need it. My grass is getting taller around my shrubs. So let me locate some parts. We found out what's wrong with it. The engine pulls over. The pull rope is great shape. The throttle does work now. See how nice that opens. Fuel lines only. So it's Sunday. I got to run him down to mow. It's possible if I run over to Lowe's, I'll look it up first to see if they got, looped line somewhere. I don't know who else is open. If Napa's open, they may have it. I think Napa might be open till noon, but I'm not sure. We'll find out. Maybe the auto parts store. So this might be the end of the video. But if I can get parts, I want to finish putting this back together. Okay, I just looked up at Lowe's, and they of course are open on Sunday, and they have a generic 3/32, 1/8, and 1/16 fuel line assortment kit. They're each 1 foot long. Wish they're a little longer. So I think I can get this today, and maybe I'll drop him off to mow, and then I'll come back and fix this. But I think I'm going to need a lot of patience to try to get that up in there. I don't know how they do it originally. It must be a machine that can do that. So, all right, I might be able to finish up and repair this video. That'd be kind of cool. I know that if you take this to the repair shop and they got to order a fuel tank, they got to spend a half hour getting it apart, another hour putting it back together, get an hour and a half labor on it. The shops are charging 60 to 90 bucks an hour. A fuel tank, I couldn't get the price on it, but if they were able to get one preloaded, then probably 30 bucks. They might upcharge it. You can't put $120 in a 25, 23-year-old machine when you can buy these on sale for $79 to $99, or go to Walmart and get the cheapest one. I think my trimmer, I got the extended, you know, the straight bar, straight shaft, and it's also the what do you call it, not the convertible, but you can put all the different heads on it, pole saw and all that. I think I paid $159, and it made sense, so I could prune my shrubs, and you know, so many accessories going on. A little baby rototiller goes on it. So yeah, you can't put too much money on. I'm trying to help a friend, but I don't know, you know, if they're going to want to pay this price. If they say, you know, we can't put $100 in it, then I might end up with a weed whacker I'll fix on my own time, and then I don't know, maybe my mom could use it. I don't know, maybe a friend can use it. So we'll get back, find out if the customer wants to spend any money on it. All right, here's string trimmer number 2. This is my mother's. I bought her this, I don't know how many years ago, a few anyway. So it's a gray model. I think they're red now. I'm not sure. This is probably an older unit. But my mom, see, it's got the little baby line, like 65 thousandths or something. But my mom, she can't pull start them. You know, she's in her 80s. And when she goes to pull on them, she'll go like this. And she said, I can't get it started. I'm like, well, no wonder. But this is a Craftsman weed whacker. I think it was the $99 one, you know, the cheapest thing. She had a weed eater that wouldn't work. But check this out. We got the same problem. Look at that fuel line. This fuel line looks a little bigger than the one we just looked at. But this one's unhooked. And the other one's still connected. I'll look inside the tank. But this has been sitting around. Like I said, she hasn't. This has this that's nice. If you look inside the tank on this one, it's got that same nipple thing that sticks down. Okay, so glancing at this one, do I see any parts in there? If there's no parts in the bottom, and I can see the fuel strainer down in there, the filter. I don't know if I can get the camera right, but I can see it laying in the bottom. So it does what I thought. It comes down and lays in there, and instead of having another hose on this one, it just sprays right out of that. So I think that's all we need to do with the other one. But I don't know if I can get my fingers down in there. But this one, this fuel line's cracked right there. And what I'm going to try to do, this is the first one. So this is the return on the front edge. So I think the same thing. When you go to prime it, it's probably going to spray out here. So I think I'm going to clip that or get a razor blade and cut that, you know, just a hair. See if I can get that back on there. I'm going to get this running for her. So I got a razor blade. I zoomed in a little bit. But if I can not damage this, because what happens if you leave fuel in it, like nobody drains it, but if they run it out of fuel, it would be better than leaving the old gas in it because it eats at these lines. I just want to square this up, soften this end a little. Hopefully not damage this line, because I don't have any. And I think the next trip to Lowe's, there's a little tiny nipple on there, so it should hold it if I can get it back on there. Yeah, it's cracking as I'm pushing it up. Yeah, it just cracked a little bit. They get so brittle when you leave your fuel in them. See, I can't get it on there. It's just going to crumble. So, what I want to do is, they said it wouldn't run. I know this has like 2 hours on it because, like I said, she couldn't get it started. And I said, well, what you got to do is you got to pull on the thing, you know. She goes, oh, I can't do that. So, we got her an electric model, but she still doesn't use it. So, we got to go over and do it for her. And she said if she had an electric one, she could use it, but it's too much for her. You got to hang on to that thing. If you get a strap model that sits on your shoulders where it just kind of rides, the head will float on the ground, then that's one she would need. But everything seems to work except the return fuel line. The other one might be fine if you don't mess with it. And I can't shorten this anymore because that's as far as it can go. And I think if I push down on it, like that other model, it'll fall down in the tank. So I think right now I'm just going to dump the used fuel from that other unit I had right here and put it in here and see if it'll start, and see if there's anything wrong with it other than that line. I'll pour slow enough I don't get sediment, but I can dump it back out. I just want to see if it'll spray out of that return. Well, now I can show you the fuel separation here. I don't know if you can see that. We got nice and green on the outside, and once I start pouring it, it'll turn brown in there. There's a lot of sediment in that. This bowl was clean. Yeah, see that? See all that sediment? So you got to dump your fuel out. You can't leave that crap in there. Watch Terrell there on YouTube. He'll tell you, dump your fuel out. Don't buy stable. It doesn't work. But this has a kill switch, so it's spring loaded. And then this has a prime. They say prime like 3 times. Oh, it's squirting out. See that? It comes right out of here. So when it goes back into the return, it means it's not going to pump it in. I'll hold this. I just want to see if it starts and runs. If it does, that's all I'm going to do. Is I want to fix this because I bought it. See, I'm getting a little pressure now, so I think I got gas to the carb. And then we got full choke, half off. Let's see if this baby will start. I have to bring it down. It may not. I don't know if they'll work without having this plugged up. Oh, it just popped. But if I can get it to start and run a second, then I'm just going to get a fuel line for this. The kit is... Yeah, see, there's nothing wrong with this, just the fuel line. You can't leave fuel in them, guys. I don't think you can plug this off. I think it's got to have that return, you know. Ooh. Now she's getting fuel locked, so I probably put too much fuel in it. So I'll hold it open. And then see if I can get her to go. Yeah, I'll have to take the plug out. So I guess you can't hold the bottom and plug it. You'll fill the cylinder up with fuel. And then I see the stringer end, the bump and go fell off. Yeah, see, that's how she must have done it. This is what she did. Said it doesn't run. Well, of course it's not going to run. It's not going to turn over. It's all bound up. So I'm going to I'm going to fix this up. Probably $4 worth of fuel line, and probably, let's see if this is the same setup. Gotta take this cover off. Okay, it's like the same exact thing. Bolts are in a little different spot, and I'll pull the fuel tank. I think I have to, right? Maybe not. No, I guess not. But I won't put in the supply line if I don't have to. I'll just do the return so it doesn't blow gas all over. And I might get this running today. I wanted to get one for Dawson for his job today and get it running. So I might monkey with this one. And I got a couple more I bought. I never get rid of mine. I just hang on to them and use them for parts. So I got a couple more Craftsmans, I think, that run actually. So I got to get him one ready. But see, these aren't too hard to fix. You just got to look them over. And then looking at it again, it wasn't to plug it all. It was that string. It was caught. See how you couldn't pull on the rope good. And by me pulling on it one more time, it wrapped right around it. So let's see what we got now. See that? Nothing wrong with this thing, just a fuel hose. So I'm going to pick some up today, and we'll get one of these running. Alright guys, I brought out one of my I shouldn't say straight shaft, one of my convertible units with a strap on it. And I haven't used this in a long time. But I believe I drained the fuel, and it's still, this is what it's supposed to look like in the fuel tank. See how your line looks clean? I think that one's been replaced. Or this is a return, and then there's no fuel in it. But it's got your strainer in the bottom. It's clean in there. I can't remember if there's anything wrong with this one. I've got 3 or 4 of them. I don't do lawn mowing commercially, but I get on a couple jobs and sometimes I want a couple guys. This fuel isn't great. So like I said, I'm going to pour off the, well, I don't know if I want that in there. Let me get a different container. And I want to put some better gas because this might run. Well guys, that was a process. I opened up my gas cans and trying to mix me up some 40-to-1 mix here, and every one of these tops, these new style twisties, this spring broke, the stuff dribbles all over. These new environmentally friendly end up spilling it on the ground. Would they rather have this gas in our water system, or would they rather have a few vapors in the air? I wish they'd go back to the old cans that actually work, and every can should have a handle on top in here so you can control it, not dribble and splash. You know, I gotta complain. Takes me forever, and time's important. See, this thing's not going to work now. The spring's broke on it. Let me get this to pour. See, this is all crap. The spring and locks broke on this one. I don't see how they're environmentally friendly. Your gas cans swell right up and get fat. I'd rather have the old style. So we'll put in, well, see, they don't hold much. Put in enough to get her running. See if this one starts. This has been sitting, I bet, 3 years. I hang it in the shed back there. This one has the twisting spring loaded, or the twisted line. So you push it in and that's it. And I don't know if that's like 90 thousandths or 105. So it's much bigger string, which I like. I don't think this thing's adjusted. Probably not. So this has a kill switch. That's off. What else we got? This is the Craftsman. They call it Incredi Pull. Unbelievable starting easy. Oh, the rope's got a little fray in it. A little bit. Not bad. Yeah, it turns over easy. The throttle, that works. Let's see if the priming bulb is cracked. I don't see any. There it comes. Coming through the line. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many times they say. Oh, it tells you. There we go. Press 10 times once you see fuel. That's a lot of fuel dumped in there. And then squeeze the throttle. pull 5 times. That's a lot. That means it's not going to run. Choke is forward, right? Well, that's so wimpy. This probably break off. Let's see if this thing will run. I'll let Dawson use this today. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with this one. Not sure why I'm not using it. Take the choke off 1 notch. This thing's gonna run, man. If I can get it to run and idle, I'm gonna see if my string will fit it, and I'll cut him some pre-strips around, I don't know, 18 inches or so. That's been sitting 3 years, but I dumped the fuel out of it. Let's see if it'll start without doing anything. I'm not sure why I stopped using that. Nice. So now, Dawson can do his job today. He makes usually $40 to mow, and then every 2 or 3 times when he trims. This customer wants it trimmed like maybe once a month. It should be trimmed every other week, but they'll give him an extra 10 bucks. It probably should go up, but it's usually their equipment. When it's my equipment, my gas, my string, we should get an extra $10 or $20, and your breaking equipment costs money. But I'm going to try to adjust this strap. He might want this around his shoulder, and he doesn't have to hold the weight. And I'll swing, and I'll try to adjust. What else moves? This will move down to get it more comfortable for him. And then on this end, on the business end, swing this around. I've got some string line. What I like about these is they're simple to load. Just push it through like that. And once it's loaded, it has a cutting knife here. Once it's loaded, I'll bring it over, and you want it to just touch that. You know, if it's out here, you can't rev up the motor till it cuts it. They should make these a lot sharper, but they probably don't want you to get hurt on them. And then I'll cut him a bunch of these, and he can put it in his pocket because they wear down quick when you're revving it up. So we're going to get Dawson on the road today to make a few bucks for his little tiny house build out there. He likes to make a little money for his projects. And what he's got, if you check out his channel there, Dawson Robinson, he's got his garden planted over there on either side. He's got new shrubs and flowers, and he's got to get out there and weed too. If you can see, we got some dandelions growing. So he's got to get the trimmers working, and maybe when he's done, after, he'll go swimming, and then we'll see if he wants to trim our lawn. So I guess this video ended up being multi on 3 trimmers. And so it's like a trimmer repair, trimmer, you know, find out what the problem is, and get one running. So it's like a 3 trimmer deal today. So hey, we'll see you on the next one. We're gonna get some string ready for Dawson, make sure he's got enough fuel, and get him on the road to mow today. We'll see you on the next one, guys.